Hi folks, welcome to another Three Stooges review. This time we'll be talking about the 22nd film that the Three Stooges made with Columbia Pictures.
And it's called Three Dumb Clucks. Two Dumb Clucks is me and him.
Yeah, so this guy gets a real kick out of himself.
That's right.
Three Dumb Clucks was written by Clyde Bruckman and it was directed by Del Lord. Now somebody mentioned in the comments that Del Lord directed many of the Stooges' best films, and I guess I'm going to have to agree with that. This isn't one of them, though.
Yeah.
We rate this one pretty much the same. For slapstick comedy, I give it a 2.
I do too. Although I'll say there's 3, maybe 4, maybe more belly laughs in this. I don't know. It's entertaining, but I guess that's as far as it goes. As far as like slapstick goes, it's entertaining. We have some really cool stuff in the jail, but you know, we've seen a lot of these gags. It's mediocre as far as slapstick goes, for me.
I think that a lot of this is well done, but there's no really outrageous slapstick. I think that, as usual, the Stooges are performing
Up to
their
par.
slapstick well.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, it's kind of like there is a lot of slapstick style comedy in this, but the Stooges almost do it so well that you barely notice it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that this short strikes me as fairly average slapstick for the Stooges, which
Yeah.
of course is always very well
good
done.
and entertaining, yeah.
Dialogue. I give the dialogue a 2.
I give it a 2 as well, and this is kind of the classic Stooge thing where if you're not a Stooge fan or you're not sort of hip as to what's going on a lot of times, the dialogue jokes a couple of times come back and they're very funny. Curly does one at the gate, if you know what I'm talking about. A lot of times the Stooges' dialogue just goes so far over your head, especially if you don't understand or know the Stooges. And I love that about them. It's kind of like a classic stand-up act, where they bring the joke back.
Yeah,
and you're supposed to get it.
Callback.
Callbacks, yeah.
Something like that.
There's some classic Stooge callbacks in this.
Again, a 2 is not a low score. A 2 is the Stooges doing what they do and doing it well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we kind of, you don't want to confuse the idea of our score of a 2, not, you know, it's a 1, a 2, or a 3. In other words, a 1 for not so good, a 2 for typical Stooge stuff, really just what they do, what they're very good at. A 3 is you know, when they hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
Okay, the plot, I give the plot of, what did I give the plot? Oh, a 2, yeah. Okay, I give the plot of 2.
Me too.
The Stooges, basically, we start out, they're in jail, they get a letter that their father has left their mom and he's going to get married and they need to break up this wedding. So they have to break out of jail, break up the wedding. It turns out that the woman that he's going to marry is planning to
bump him
off after the marriage.
Wedding, yeah.
It's actually sounds like an interesting plot, but
Right.
it plays out so straightforwardly that it comes off as a little bit dull.
Yeah.
A little bit dull. You know, it's
still the Stooges doing their thing.
It seems like they could have done a lot more with this plot, and so I think it's kind of weak. The ending is very weak. And,
although I don't think it's as bad as he does, only because, well, I don't know how bad he thinks it is, but for me, the plot ends up where we were supposed to be in the first place. They get the letter, stop him, they drag him home.
Yeah, they drag him home, which would be good if they ended up dragging him home through a series of more ironic events.
Okay.
That's the problem. The irony is kind of missing. All right, the supporting cast, though, gets a 1.
Well, I gave him
me.
a 2.
I like the guard, but
He's
he's
good.
not in this enough to elevate that rank any higher.
I like the guy who answered the phone, too. I like his character. He does good, too.
Now, I give Moe and Larry 3s because I think they both do a bang-up job in this film, and I only give Curly a 2, considering the fact that Curly actually has 2 roles in this, because he actually plays their father. You would think that he would have brought a lot more to this film or I would think that he would have brought a lot more to this film. So
Yeah,
I give him a 2.
You only have so much room in this episode.
Well, that's
in my
the problem.
opinion. Yeah, everybody gets a 2, and just to say that again, that's not terrible, that's not bad. I just, I think everyone could. I do like Moe, maybe better than a 2, but he's getting a 2. And you know what? My score isn't that bad. I went to Pretty Girls gets a 1.
Pretty Girl gets a 1.
This girl in this looks like what's her name? What's her name?
Kirsten Dunst?
Yeah, she looks like Kirsten Dunst, and I don't like Kirsten Dunst, so you get no Pretty Girls.
I think she's also she's supposed to be funny with the way she talks with this really thick New York kind of gangster, goofy, ditzy accent.
I forgot about
pretty irritating. So
yeah, and
luckily she doesn't have a lot of dialogue.
So to sum this up, my final score is a 15,
and mine is a 16.
And this is pretty middle-of-the-road stooge stuff.
Right, which is to say that it's good.
Because 15 and 16 isn't terribly low.
Right, it's middle-of-the-road.
Stooge gags.
It's average stooge stuff. And, don't take that the wrong way. Average does not mean, this is a crappy episode. It means that
would you sell the Stooges with
I
this?
wouldn't. No, this is not one of the Stooges' fantastic films. Simple as that. It's a very standard film.
There's some really good sight gags.
A lot
There's
of
some
good
funny
stuff going on here. They do their job so well. It's amazing. So well, in fact, that's part of the problem. They do
love
it
the
so
stuff
well.
with the gate, right? He pulls out the hammer, bang,
It's
bang.
fantastic.
Yeah,
the timing is often impeccable.
Right.
And
how can you judge that as a 3 for every single episode?
Right,
it's
over
very
and over
difficult
and over
to
again.
do.
No,
yeah.
you can't.
The stuff in the jail you could, or they could, make a whole episode of the stuff just in the jail. We don't have to leave jail for the Stooges to be good. We could do it in one set and have all these gags go off, right?
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing. When you consider the plot and that Curly's playing the father, and that there's murder, attempted murder going on. For example, the scene where the bad guys are experiencing the 2 Curlys, they could have. A lot more should have been done with that.
That is pretty lame.
Yeah, nothing really funny comes of that.
Right.
So when they miss an opportunity like that, you say, okay.
They literally did that on one set.
Yeah, they didn't do anything with it. Back and forth a couple of times, and I guess the principle of it is supposed to be funny. And other than that, they didn't do anything with it. So that there
things
you are.
like that. Yeah, I would say that about the bar scene too. Could have been much funnier.
The bar scene?
Yeah, but one funny thing is when Larry's doing the thing and Moe's doing the thing, and then Larry.
The hat scene is great.
Yeah, the hat scene. I love that. It's average, and I'm not going to sell the Stooges with this. I picked something else like Whoops, I'm an Indian. That is far better. And here's the problem.
We're kind of big on Whoops, I'm an Indian because it came out of left field. It's like literally been so many years since we've seen it. We just did not even expect it to be any good.
But the thing about Whoops, I'm an Indian is that it is good. It's the probably one, if not my favorite to this point. If I hadn't seen Disorder in the Court a million times, I would probably be saying Disorder in the Court and Whoops, I'm an Indian.
Let's not forget Uncivil Warriors.
And of course Uncivil Warriors. So, this is what you have to bring a Stooge episode up to for me to say, okay, I'm giving you 3s all the way down. And those might not even have got 3s all the way down. I'd have to go back and look. But just suffice it to say that this is really funny, and I belly laughed and I smiled through the whole thing, but I'm not going to sell Stooges with this. There's 3 other ones that I would. Maybe even Punch Drunks before this.
So we're going to wrap up this review. We hope we've given you a lot to think about. Again, that's the whole point of this, is to analyze the Three Stooges rather than simply enjoy them. It's probably not very often that we, as Stooge fans, get to talk about the Stooges in an analytical way and think about what is it that we like about them and what is it that is weak. Let's face it, these guys had a gigantic career. They worked for, 50 years, or at least 2 of them anyway. But anyway, the point is that there's a lot to analyze. There's a lot of weak things to say, well, what didn't work? We all know what did work.
Every episode you could you could have a whole, a week's worth of, so you could take each episode and dissect it for a week.
Right. We could sit here and talk about one film, or at least, if this 20-second film represented the entirety of the Stooges' legacy, there's really a lot here. And to think that they continue for another, 30, 40 years?
With 3 other Stooges.
And of course there are mixed reviews about the success of those subsequent years, but you'll find out what we think.
And we'll find out what you think, because you're going to join
in a long time from now. Yeah, so rate, comment, subscribe. Next time we'll be doing Back to the Woods. Rate, comment, and subscribe. And so we'll see you next time.
Bye.